Good morning. I asked Brooke if I could just say a couple words before the kids get started. This is one of our very first events where we've had parents on campus, so I just wanted to say welcome. By show of hands, if this is your family's first year at Sanford, will you please raise your hand? Wow, let's give this group. In this very atypical year, normally I feel like Emily and I and our colleagues would know you all so much better. She probably knows you better from Carline. But I want to thank you for joining us this year. I hope this has been a positive first year for your kids. And we're already looking forward to next year, not only for the students, but for you all as families. One of the things that we were just talking about recently, every summer before the start of the school year, we have a new parent reception. Obviously, we couldn't do that this year. We're talking about doing a double reception next year. So we're going to bring back our new families from this year, our new families for next year, and really hopefully bring that Sanford community that we all know and appreciate back. Speaking of appreciation, I want to thank Brooke and the entire 6th grade team for their good work this year. Let's give them a round of applause. And if I know Sanford students well, through all 3 divisions, they love to perform and be on stage and show their stuff. So I know these kids are ready because you all definitely look sharp. You look the part, and that's half the battle. Enjoy the performance.
Thank you.
Welcome to our annual 6th grade Poetry Coffee House. This is our first event together this year, we are so happy you are here. Each member of the 6th grade class has selected a poem of his or her choosing. The only requirement is that the poem be created by a published poet, or that the poem be 60 seconds in length. Our goal was to gain appreciation of poetry and to find the bravery to recite a meaningful poem with all of you. We hope you enjoy our selections.
Okay. In keeping with the poetic feel, we kindly ask that upon the conclusion of each recitation, instead of clapping, you snap. Right. Thank you all for being here with us.
Hello, my name is Shannon Lawley, and I will be reciting Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. 'Twas brillig in the slithy toes that gyre and gimble in the wave, all mimsy with the bird rose in the mome rise out grave. Beware the Jabberwocky, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the jump-up bird, and shun the frumious bandersnatch. He took his whoop-a-swan in hand. Long time the Maxwell folk so saw he rested by the tum-tum tree, and stood a while in thought. A uffish thought he stood. The Jabberwock with eyes of flame came willfully the tuggly wood, and broke it as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3. The verbal blade went snip-snap. He left it dead with his head. He went along for back. Hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my baby's boy. Oh, frabjous day, Kalu Kalay, you chortled in his door. 'Twas brillig in the silky toes, the gyre and gimble in the wave, all mimsy of the bird rose, and the mome rast out great.
Hello, my name is Michael Pompey, and I'll be reciting Home Alone by Arabella. My family's gone, there's no one home, it's only me who's home alone. I shouldn't hear a single squeak, there shouldn't even be a creak. So what's that thumping noise I hear? It must be the one thing, death is near. You're an adult, you'll just be fine, as I tell myself as I dial 9. What was that knock upon the door? My heart beats faster than before. I know it's closed, I checked the lock, at least my killer knows to knock. I cannot sleep, dumb in bed, I made my amends with God instead. If he decides that it's my time, then this will be my very last one. I hear a bang, then a break. My head shoots up, there's no mistake. I turn my music volume high, so I wouldn't hear the way I die. I run upstairs, desk under my hand, over my head, ready to land. And right before I did just that, I remembered I have a cat.
My name is Logan Matheson, and I'll be reciting On Turning 10 by Billy Collins. I feel like I'm coming down with something worse than any stomachache or the headaches I get from reading in bad light. A kind of measles of the spirit, a mumps of the sight, a disfiguring chickenpox of the soul. You tell me it is too early to be looking back, but that is because you have forgotten the perfect simplicity of being one, and the beautiful complexity introduced by two. But I can lie in my bed and remember every detail. At 4, I was an Arabian wizard. I can make myself invisible by drinking a glass of milk a certain way. At 7, I was a soldier. At 9, a prince. But now, I'm mostly by the window, watching the late afternoon light. Back then, it never fell so solemnly against the side of my treehouse, and my bicycle never leaned against the garage as it does today. All the dark blue speed drained out of it. This is the beginning of sadness, I tell myself, as I walk through the universe in my sneakers. It is time to say goodbye to my imaginary friends, to turn the first big number. It seems only yesterday, I used to believe, that my skin was made of light. If you cut me, I would shine. But now, if I fall upon the sidewalks of life, I skim my knees, I bleed.
Thank you. O Captain, My Captain, by Walt Whitman. O Captain, my Captain, our fearful trip is done. The ship has weathered every rack, the prize we sought is won. The port is near, the bells I hear, the people all exulting, while follow eyes the steady keel, the vessel grim and dim. But oh heart, 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 oh the bleeding drops of red, where on the deck my Captain lies, fallen cold and dead. O Captain, my Captain, rise up and hear the bells, rise up for you the flag is flown, for you the people trills. For you bouquets and ribboned wreaths, for you the shores are crowding, for you they cry, the swaying mast, their eager faces turn. Dear Captain, dear Father, this arm beneath your head, it is some dream that on the deck you've fallen cold and dead. My Captain does not answer, his lips are pale and still. My father does not feel my arm, he has no pulse or will. The ship is anchored safe and sound, its voyage closed and done. From fearful trip, the victor ship comes in with object won. Exalt those shores and ring of bells, but I with mournful tread must walk the deck where my Captain lies, fallen cold and dead. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Charlotte McLeod, and today I'll be reciting the poem Drum Dream Girl by Margaret Engel. On an island of music, in a city of drum beats, the drum dream girl dreamed of pounding tall conga drums, tapping small bongo drums, and boom, boom, booming with long, loud sticks and big, round, silvery, moon-bright timbales. But everyone on the island of music, in the city of drum beats, believed that only boys should play drums. So the drum dream girl had to keep dreaming quiet, secret, drum beat dreams. At outdoor cafes that looked like gardens, she heard drums played by men. But when she closed her eyes, she could also hear her own. But when she closed her eyes, she could hear her own imaginary music. When she walked under wind-wavy palm trees in a flower-bright park, she heard the whir of parrot wings, the clack of woodpecker beaks, the dancing tap of her own footsteps, and the comforting pat of her own heartbeat. At Carnival, she listened to the rattling beat of towering dancers on stilts, and the dragging clang of costumed drummers wearing huge masks. At home, her fingertips rolled out their own dreamy drum rhythm on tables and chairs, and even though everyone kept reminding her that girls on the island of music had never played drums, the brave drum dream girl dared to play tall conga drums, small bongo drums, and big round silvery moonbright timbales. Her hands seemed to fly as they rippled, rapped, and pounded all the rhythms of her drum dreams. Her big sisters were so excited that they invited her to join their new all-girl dance band, but their father said that only boys should play drums. So the drum dream girl had to keep dreaming and drumming alone, until finally her father offered to find her a music teacher who could decide if her drums deserved to be heard. The drum dream girl's teacher was amazed. The girl knew so much, but he taught her more and more and more. And she practiced, and she practiced, and she practiced, until the teacher agreed that she was ready to play her small bongo drums outdoors at a starlit cafe that looked like a garden, where everyone who heard her dream-bright music sang and danced and decided that girls should always be allowed to play drums, and both boys and girls, and both girls and boys should feel free to dream. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Cole Stella, and I will be reciting Sarah, Cynthia, Sylvia Stout Would Not Take the Garbage Out by Shel Silverstein. Sarah, Cynthia, Sylvia Stout would not take the garbage out. She'd scour the pots and scrape the pans, candy the yams and spice the hams, and though her daddy would scream and shout, she simply would not take the garbage out. And so piled to the ceiling, coffee grounds, potato peelings, brown bananas, rotten peas, and chunks of sour cottage cheese. It filled the can, it covered the floor, it cracked the window, it blocked the door. With bacon rinds and chicken bones, drippy ends of ice cream cones, prune pits, peas pits, orange peels, grumpy gobs of cold oatmeal, pizza crust, withered greens, soggy beans, and tangerines, crust of black brown butter toast, gristly bits of beefy roast. The garbage rolled on down the hall. It raised the roof, it broke the wall. Greasy napkins, cookie crumbs, globs of gooey bubble gum. cellophane from green bologna, rubbery blubbery macaroni, peanut butter caked and dry, curdled milk and crust of pie. Moldy melon, dried up mustard, eggshells mixed with lemon custard. Cold French fries, rancid meat, yellow lumps of cream of wheat. The garbage piled up so high that it finally touched the sky. And Sarah, Cynthia, Sylvia Stout said, "Okay, I'll take the garbage out." But then, of course, it was too late. The garbage was across the state from New York to the Golden Gate. There, the garbage sheeted hate. Poor Sarah met an awful fate that I cannot now relate. Children, remember Sarah Stout and always take the garbage out. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is August Towns, and I will be reciting Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust I rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? That I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of the tides, just like hope springing high, still I rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard that I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard? You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still like air I rise. Does my beauty upset you? Don't you take it awful hard? No, does it come to a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame I rise. Up from the past that's rooted in pain I rise. I'm black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling as I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear I rise. Into the daybreak that's wondrously clear I rise. Bringing the gift that my ancestors gave, I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Chase Houth, and I'll be reciting The Fisherman by Robin McNamara. The sea swelled and splashed against the hull of the boat, with its green net mountain disappearing into the foaming waters. The fisherman's hope and security, an old sea dog salted, and weather-beaten from a lifetime's toil upon the waters. Times of hardships furrowed upon the brow. A story told by scarred hands. He respects the sea, which has taken many a soul. Bowing his head in mournful grace for comrades long gone by. In his forsaken element, names inscribed on the memorial wall. Baptized at tender 14, saltwater dripping from forehead, as his arms ached from the harvesting. Proud to be gone from boy to man. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kevin Lee, and today I'm reciting Mother Doesn't Want a Dog by Judith Viewers. Mother doesn't want a dog. Mother said that you smell. And never sit when you say sit, or even when you yell. And when you come home late at night, and there's ice and snow, you have to go back out because the dumb dog has to go. Mother doesn't want a dog. Mother said they should. And always let strangers in and bark at friends instead. And do disgraceful things on rugs and track mud on the floor. And flop upon your bed at night and snort their doggy snore. Mother doesn't want a dog. She's making a mistake. Because more than a dog, I think, she will not want this snake. Thank you.
Hello and good morning. My name is Oliver Anderson, and I'll be reciting the poem Ruin and Beauty by Patricia Young. It's been so quiet now that the children have stopped being born. We raise our cups in an empty room. In this light, the curtains are as transparent as gauze. Through an opening window we hear nothing. No airplane, no lawnmower, no siren, speeding through traffic like white pain. But there is no traffic. What remains is what remains. The brick school at the 5 Points crosswalk is drenched in morning glory. Already white flowers are festooning this coastal town. Will the eventual forest rise up and remember our footsteps? Already crabgrass is poking through cement. Already wolves come down the hill to forage among us. We're like them now, another species looking at the stars and howling at extinction. They say our body accepts any kind of sorrow, that our ancestors lay down their stomachs in school hallways, that children lay down like matches waiting for a nuclear fire. It wasn't supposed to end like this, all ruin and beauty, vines, water falling down, the centuries' architecture. It wasn't supposed to end without fanfare or fuss. Tonight, a woman and a man are collecting rain in old coffee tin cups. Darling, the wars have been forgotten. The only quarrels we have are by ourselves. Tonight you lay at the edge of your bed untying your shoes. This is without future or failure. Should we simply call this failure, or just say that this wasn't enough? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Campbell Eckerd, and today I will be reciting Sick by Shel Silverstein. I cannot go to school today, said little Peggy on the kid. I have the measles and the mumps, a gash, a rash, and purple bumps. My mouth is wet, my throat is dry. I'm going blind in my right eye. My tonsils are as big as rocks. I've counted 16 chicken pox. And there's one more. That's 17! And don't you think my face looks green? My leg is cut, my eyes are blue. It might be instamatic flu. I cough and sneeze and gasp and choke. I'm sure my left leg is broke. My hip hurts when I move my chin. My belly button's caving in. My back's wrenched, my ankle's sprained. My appendix pains each time it rains. My nose is cold, my toes are numb. I have a sliver in my thumb. My neck is stiff, my voice is weak. I hardly whisper when I speak. My tongue is filling up my mouth. I think my hair is falling out. My elbow's bent, my spine ain't straight. My temperature is 108. My brain is shrunk, I cannot hear. There's a hole inside my ear. I have a hangnail, and my heart is... What? What's that? What's that you say? You say today is... Saturday? Goodbye, I'm going out to play. Thank you.
My name is Morgan Kalish, and I'll be reciting Alone by Maya Angelou. Lying thinking last night how to find my soul at home, where water is not thirsty and bread loaf is not stone. I came up with one thing, and I don't believe I'm wrong, but nobody can make it out here alone. All alone, nobody can make it out here alone. There are some millionaires with money they can't use. Their wives run around like banshees, their children sing the blues. They've got expensive doctors to cure their hearts of stone, but nobody can make it out here alone. All alone, nobody can make it out here alone. Now if you listen closely, I'll tell you what I know. The storm clouds are gathering, the wind is gonna blow. The race of man is suffering, and I can hear them moan, but nobody can make it out here alone. All alone, nobody can make it out here alone. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Siacesaros. I'll be reciting What If by Shel Silverstein. Last night while I thinking here, some what ifs crawled inside my ear, and pranced and partied all night long, singing their same old what if song. What if I'm dumb in school? What if they close the swimming pool? What if I get beat up? And what if there's poison in my cup? What if I start to cry? What if I get sick and die? What if I flunk that test? What if green hair grows on my chest? What if nobody likes me? What if a bolt of lightning strikes me? What if I don't grow taller? What if my head starts getting smaller? What if the fish won't bite? What if the wind tears up my kite? What if they start a war? What if my parents get divorced? What if I tear my pants? What if I never learn to dance? Everything seems swell, and then the nighttime what ifs strike again. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Brett Philbin, and I will be reciting If by Rudyard Kipling. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting or being lied about, don't do them lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, no talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make your thoughts aim, and meet with triumph and disaster, and treat those two impostors just the same. If you bear to hear the truth spoken, twisted by knaves to trap them fools, or watch things you gave life to broken, and stoop them up and build them with those worn out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings on one risk of pitch and toss,
and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart to love into new and to severe your long turn and hold on when there's nothing in you, and to accept the will that says hold on. If you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and one day you'll be in my son. Thank you. Hello, my name is Seth Corinne, and I will be reciting Wonder Bread by Alfred Korn. Loaf after loaf in several sizes, and never does it not look fresh, as though its insides weren't moist or warm crust, not the kind that spices up the room with the plump aroma of toast. Found on the table among shadows next to the kitchen phone, dispatched FedEx. Without return address, though. Amazing that bread should be so weightless, downright when handled, as in me dying to taste it, tastes a slice, which lasts just long enough to reach my mouth. But then, at the first bite, nothing but air, thin air. Oh, one more loaf of Wonder Bread, only a pun for bread. Wondrous visually, but you could starve. Get rid of it, throw it into a river, beyond which grain fields, future food for just and unjust, those who love and do not love. Thank you.
My name is Ellie DeLuca, and I'll be reciting the poem Remember by Joy Harjo. Remember the sky you were born under, know each of the stars' stories. Remember the moon, know who she is. Remember the sun's birth at dawn, it is the strongest point of time. Remember the sundown and the giving away tonight. Remember your birth, how your mother struggled to give you form and breath. That you are evidence of her life and her mother's and hers. Remember your father, he is your life also. Remember the earth whose skin you are. Red earth, black earth, yellow earth, white earth, brown earth, we are earth. Remember the plants, trees, and animal life who have their tribes, their families, their histories too. Talk to them, listen to them. They are alive poems. Remember the wind, remember her voice. She knows the origin of this universe. Remember you are all people and all people are you. Remember you are this universe and this universe is you. Remember all is in motion, is growing, is you. Remember language comes from this. Remember dance language is, that life is. Remember. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Arabella Marcinko, and I'll be reciting The Unicorn by Shel Silverstein. A long time ago, while the earth was still green, there were many more kinds of animals than you've ever seen. They'd run around free while the earth was being born, but the loveliest of all was the unicorn. There were green alligators and long-necked geese, some humpty-backed camels, and some chimpanzees, some cats and rats and elephants, but as sure as you're born, the loveliest of all was the unicorn. Now God seen some sin it, and it gave him pain, and he said, stand back, I'm going to make it rain. He says, hey brother Noah, I'll tell you what to do, build me a floating zoo. And take some of those green alligators and long-necked geese, some humpty-backed camels, and some chimpanzees, some cats and rats and elephants, but as sure as you're born, don't forget my unicorn. Oh, Noah was there to answer the call. He finished making the ark as the rain started falling. He marched in the animals 2 by 2 and called out as they went through. Hey Lord, I've got your green alligators and long-necked geese, humpty-backed camels and some chimpanzees, some cats and rats and elephants, but Lord, I'm so forlorn, I don't see no unicorn. Old Noah looked out into the driving rain. He saw them unicorns hiding, playing silly games, kicking and splashing while the rain was pouring. Oh, them silly unicorns. There were green alligators and long-necked geese, some humpty-backed camels and some chimpanzees. Old Noah cried, close the doors because the rain's pouring. We just can't wait for no unicorns. The unicorns looked up from the rock and cried. The water sort of came down and floated them away. And that's why you'll never see a unicorn to this day. You'll always see green alligators and a mess of geese, some humpty-backed camels and a lot of chimpanzees, some cats and rats and elephants, but as sure as you're born, you're never going to see no unicorn. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lily Root, and I'm going to be reciting Love is More Thicker Than Forget by E.E. Cummings. Love is more thicker than forget, more thinner than recall, more seldom than wave is wet, more frequent than fail. It is most mad and moonly, and shall unbe, and the sea, which only is deeper than the sea. Love is less always than to win, less never than alive. It is less bigger and least begin, less littler than forget. It is most sand and sunny, and more it cannot die, and the sky, which only is higher than the sky. Thank
you. My name is Alec Musichuk, and I will be reciting another anti-pastor by Uni Francis. I want to put down with the mountain was over me, my mouth full of grass, my curious tail. I want to stand still, but find myself moved, patch by patch. There's a bleat in my throat, words fail me here. Can you understand? I sink to my knees, tired or not. I now know the ragweed from the golden one, and the blinding green. Don't you see? I am shedding my skins. I am a paper hive, a wool spider, the creeping ivy, the ache of a birch, a heifer, a duck. I have fallen from my dream of progress, the clear-cut glass, the potted balcony tree, the lemon wax wood over a marble pillar, into my own nocturne. The lullabies I had forgotten. How could I know what slept inside, what would rend my fantasies to cut enough from this belly's wet straw-strewn field, these surroundings? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Polsky Abbey, and I'll be reciting poems by Nicky Rhymes. I am hardly ever able to sort through my memories and come away whole or untroubled. It's difficult to sift through the stones, the weighty moments, and know which is a gem, which will pull, which will fish or sleep. So one by one, I drag them across the page, and when one cuts into the white, there's a trail of blood. No matter how narrow the stream, then I know I found the real thing, the diamond, where the priceless gems. My pain produced. There I say, is memory worth keeping.
My name is Summer Millard, and I will be reciting Where the Sidewalk Ends by Siacesaros. There is a place where the sidewalk ends and before the street begins. There the grass grows soft and white, and there the sun burns crimson bright, and there the moon reversed from its flick to pour out the local. Let us leave this place where smoke blows black, and the dark street winds and bends, past the pits where the half-sown flowers grow. We shall walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and watch where the chalk-white arrows go to the place where the sidewalk ends. Yes, we'll walk with a walk that is measured and slow, and go to where the chalk-white arrows go, where the children they mark, and the children they know, the place where the sidewalk ends. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Chris Liu, and today I will be reciting Kindness by Naomi Shihab Nye. Before you know what kindness really is, you must lose things. Feel the future dissolve in a moment, like saw in a weakened broth. What you held in your hand, what you counted and carefully saved, all this must go for you to know how desolate the landscape can be between the regions of kindness. How you ride and ride, thinking the bus will never stop, but the passengers eating maize and chicken will stare out the window forever. Before you understand the tender gravity of kindness, you must travel where the Indian in a white poncho lies dead by the side of the road. You must see how this could be you one day, how he too journeyed through the night with plans, and the simple breath that kept him alive. Before you understand kindness as the deepest thing inside, you must understand sorrow as the other deepest thing. You must wake up with sorrow. Speak to sorrow with your voice till it catches the thread of all sorrows, and you see the size of its call. Then it is only kindness that makes sense of you. Only kindness that ties your shoes and sends you off to the day to gaze at red. Only kindness that raises its head from the crowd of the world and says, "It is I you have been loving." Then it follows you everywhere, like a shadow or a friend. Thank you.
Hello, my name is William Jardina, and I will be reciting The Bells by Edgar Allan Poe. Hear the sledge with the bells, silver bells, what a world of merriment their melody foretells. How they tinkle, 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 in the ice air of night, when the stars over sprinkle, all the heavens seem to twinkle with the crystalline delight, keeping time, in sort of unique rhythm, to contemplation so that the music swells from the bells, 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 bells. Hear the mellow wedding bells, golden bells, what a world of happiness that harmony foretells. Through the balmy earth night, there ring out their delight from each molten gold note ball in tune.
With her liquid ditty floats, the turtle doesn't listen while she floats on the moon. On the sound that it sells from the gushing philanthropic volume as wells, how it swells, how it dwells, on the future how it tells, on the raptured it pals from the swinging and the ringing of the bells. I hear the loud alarm bells, bonds bells, but a tale of terror now their turbulence tells, and the startled ear of night, how they scream out their fright, too much horrified to speak, they only shriek, shriek, shriek out of tune. And the clamors appealing to the mercy of the fire, and a death explosion from higher, 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 despite the desire, with the resolute endeavor now to sit or to never by the side of the pale-faced moon. Of the bells, 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 the tale of terror now their turbulence tells, and startled ear of night. Wait, as they clang and they clash and they roar, they pour they outpour from the bottom of the confident air. Yet the ear fully knows by the twang and the clanging that the danger ebbs and flows. The ear distinctly tells by the jingling and the wrangling that the danger sits and swells from the anger of the bells, as the bells, 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 and the clangor of the bells. Hear the tolling of the bells, iron bells, what a world of solemn thought their monody compels. In the silence of the night, how we shiver with the fright, from each sound that floats from the rust between their throats is a groan. And the people, they that dwell up in the steeple, all alone. And it is who toll and toll and toll, and they are neither men nor women, they are neither good nor human, they are ghouls. And their king is who tolls, who rolls from the pine of the bells, whose merry blossom swells from the pine of the bells, and he decks and he yells, keeping time, in a sort of rhythmic rhythm. As from time, in a sort of rhythmic rhythm, from the throbbing of the bells, the sobbing of the bells, bells, keeping time, as he kneels in a happy rhythmic rhythm, to the tolling of the bells, to the rolling of the bells, to the moaning and the groaning of the bells. Thank you. Hello, my name is Aiden Black, and I'll be this group. Hi, my name is Aiden Black, and I'll be reciting Messy Room by Silverstein. Whatever room this is should be a shit. Their underwear is hanging on the lamp, their raincoat is there in the overstuffed chair, and the chair is between quite between them. His workbook is wedged between the window, his sweater's been thrown on the floor, his scarf is on the steam beneath the TV, and his pants have been carelessly hung on the door. His workbooks are wedged up. His books have been shoved in the closet. His vest has been left in the hall. A lizardman Ed is asleep in his bed, and the smelly old sock is stuck to the wall. Whosever room this is should be ashamed. Ronald, Donald, or Lily, or huh? You say it's mine? Oh dear, I knew it looked familiar. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Pleasant Towns, and I will be reciting the poem The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveler long I stood, and looked down on as far as I could, until it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other just as there, and having perhaps a better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that of passing there, had worn them really about the same. Both that morning equally lay, and leaves most that type trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet, knowing how way leads to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence, till diverged in a wood, and I took the one was traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sean, and I will be reciting Dragons by Devin Johnston. We gathered in a field southwest of town, several hundred hauling coolers and folding chairs along a gravel road dry in August. 2 belts of soft dust that soaked into our clothes and rose in plumes behind us. By noon we could discern their massive coils emerging from a veil of cloud, scales scattering, crescent apples through walnut fronds, the light polarized, each leaf tip in focus. As their bodies blotted out the sun, the forest faded to silver point. A current of cool air extended from the bottomlands, an intimation of October, and the bowl of the sky deepened its celestial archaeology. Their tails, like banners of a vast army, swept past Orion and his retinue of sighs and scattered applause, and the faint wail of a child crying. In half an hour they had passed on in search of deep waters. Before our company dispersed, just dust whirling in the wind, we planned to meet again in 7 years for the next known migration. Sunlight flashed on the windshield and caught along the riverbank, a cloudy, keeled scale about the size of a dinner plate, cool as blanc de chine in the heat of the afternoon. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Matthew Porter, and I'm going to be reciting Boletus by Roseanne Laurel. Crickets are stitching the afternoon together, but the squalling catbird burns the crickets relentlessly repair. The maple shivers, sending yellow messages sailing down. Too much is ripped, half the moon branch and cracked off and hangs, teetering across the road, leaving upon the trunk of blonde moon. We cross the brook on stepping stones and climb west of the mountain flight, through lower thicket along the slope that valley of beech trees. Up the streamlet to sit on a fallen tree. But there's no rest. We carry what we left below, a country clawing its very of the shreds. The scarlet boletus mushroom prongs from the decaying wood, and its bishop's amaranth gold capped stands the ground. One kind will nourish, the other sicken. But unlike the way on many, the causes of failure, seizures, and death. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sam Cassio, and I'll be reciting Casey at the Bat by Ernest Lawrence Sawyer. The outlook wasn't brilliant for the Mudville man that day. Scorched at 42, one more inning to play, and then Cooney died at first, and Barrels did the same. A pall-like silence fell upon the patrons of the game. A few got up to go in deep despair, while the rest clung to hope, with springs internal in a human breath. They thought, if only Casey could get a whack at that, we'll put up money now with Casey at the bat. But Flynn preceded Casey, and so did Jimmy Blake, while the former was a hoodoo, and the latter was a cake. And the Stuckland too, grim melancholy sat, as he seemed just little chance, and Casey at the bat. But Flynn let drive a single, to the wonderment of all, and Blake, much despair, threw the cover off the ball, and when the dust had settled, the men saw what occurred. It was Jimmy save at second, and Flynn a hug at third. From the maddening thousand, there rose a rusty yell. It rambled through the valleys, it rattled through the dell. It pounded on the mountains, and cornered along the flat. For Casey, mighty Casey, was abandoned to the bat. There was ease in Casey's manner as he stepped up to his place. There was pride in Casey's bearing, smile in Casey's face. As the thousands cheered, he lightly doffed his hat, and no one could doubt 'twas Casey at the bat. 10,000 eyes were on him as he rubbed his hands in the dirt. 5,000 tongues applauding as he writes him on his shirt, and the withering pitcher holds the ball into his head. The vines flashed in Casey's eye, a sneer closed Casey's lips. As the leather-covered spirit came hurtling through, he stood grudgingly watching it there. As the batman, the ball had fell speed. That ain't my style, said Casey. Strike one, the umpire said. The benches were blackened with people as there rose a roar like the stern on a distant shore. Kill him! Kill the umpire! Someone yelled from the stand. They likely would have killed him. Casey hadn't raised his hand. As Christianity charity, Casey's visage shone. He stopped the rising tantrum and he bade the game to go on. Getting to the picture, once more the dumb spirit flew. But Casey still ignored it, and the umpire said, "She right too." Fraud! Cried the maddening thousands, and echoed, "Fraud!" But one turn looked from Casey, and they were in awe. They saw Casey's eyes twinkle, they saw his muscles strain, and they knew that Casey wouldn't let that ball go by again. They saw Casey's lips, his teeth clenched in hate, and as he pounded through the violence, he battled upon the plate. creature has fallen. Now he lets it go. The force is shattered by the air is shattered by the force of pieces below. But somewhere in the fabled land, the sun is shining bright. Man is playing summer, and some are hearts for life. And somewhere men are laughing, and somewhere children shout. Where there's no joy in Leadville. Mighty Casey has struck out. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Bradley Pinkowski, and I will be reciting The Inward Morning by Henry David Thoreau. Packed in my mind lie all the clothes which outward nature wears, and in its fashion's hourly change, it all things else repairs. In vain I look for change abroad, and can no difference find, until some new ray of peace uncalled illumes my inmost mind. What is it gilds the trees and clouds, and paints the heavens so gay? But yonder fast abiding light with its unchanging ray. Lo, when the sun streams through the wood upon a winter's morn, wherever his silent beams intrude, the murky night is gone. How could the patient pine have known the morning breeze would come, or the humble flowers anticipate the insect noonday hum? In the new light of morning cheer, from far streamed through the aisles, and nimbly told the forest trees for many stretching miles. I've heard within my inmost soul such cheerful morning news. In the horizon of my mind I've seen such orient hues. In the twilight at dawn, when the first birds awake, are heard within some silent wood where they the small twigs break. Or in the eastern skies are seen, before the sun appears, and in the harbinger of summer heat, and from afar he bears. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Macy McLeod, and I am going to be reciting My Shadow by Robert Louis Stevenson. I have a little shadow that goes in and out with me, and what can be the use of him is more than I can see. He is very, very like me, from the heels up to the head, and I see him jump before me when I jump into my bed. The funniest thing about him is the way he likes to go. Not at all like rocket children, which is always very slow. And for he sometimes shoots up so tall like an India rubber ball, and he sometimes goes so little that there's none of him at all. He hasn't got a notion how children ought to play, and can only make a fool of me in every sort of way. He stays so close behind me, he's a terror you can see. I think he came to sit in her sleep, as my shadow sticks to me. One morning, very early, before the sun was up, I rose and found the shining blue on every banner up. And my lazy little shadow, like an errant sleepy head, had stayed at home behind me, and was back to sleep in bed. Thank you.
My name is Sadie Jordan, and I'm going to be reciting Invisible Children by Marianne Young. Invisible children fall through the cracks of the system, like Alice in the Rabbit Hole. But these children won't find an eat me cake or a drink me water. They won't wake up on the lap of a loving sister. They'll open their eyes on the hand of a monster called neglectance. Will poke them with their sharp teeth and bait them with their heartless laugh, like a wild thing in a wild rumpus. These children won't wake up to the smell of a warm supper, nor will they find a purple crayon so they can draw an escape door or window. But these children will make a mirror out of mucky puddle on the side of the city street, and it won't show them how beautiful they are, but it'll show them their scars, as invisible to others as these children are. Thank you.
The poem I'll be reciting is All My Friends Are Finding New Beliefs by Kristen Rankin. All my friends are finding new beliefs. This one converts to Catholicism, and this one to Judaism. In a highly literary, hitherto religiously indifferent Jew, God bonks on like a generic generator. Paleo, keto, zone, South Beach, bourbon. Exercise regimen so extreme she merges with machine. One man marries a woman 20 years younger and twice in one brunch uses the word bourbon. Another brick-fisted belligerent gentles into dementia. And one, after a decade of finical feints and teases, like a sandpiper at the edge of the sea, decides to die. Priesthoods and beasthoods, sombers and glees, high-styled renunciations and avocations of dirt, sobrieties and satiaties and pilgrimages to the very bowels of being. All my friends are finding new beliefs, and I find it harder and harder to keep track of the new gods and the new loves and the old gods and the old loves. The days have daggers and the mirrors motives, and the planets turning faster and faster in the blackness. And my nights and my nights and my doubts and my friends, my beautiful, incredible friends. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Liam Gary, and I'll be reciting the word blues by Sanford. Droning a drowsy, syncopated tone, we rocked back and forth to a mellow parade. I heard a negro play. Down lay exactly the other night. By the pale-pale pallor of an old gas light, he did a lazy sway, To the tune of those weary blues, with his ebony hands on each ivory key, he made that porcupine moan with melody. Oh, blues, swinging to and fro on his rickety stool, he played that tune like a musical fool. Sweet blues, scream from a black man's soul. Oh, blues, a deep voice in a melancholy tone, fired that negro sing in the porcupine moan. Ain't got nobody in all this world, ain't got nobody but myself. I just want to put my crown in and put my troubles on the shelf. Thump thumped up on his phone the floor. He played a few chords and sang some more. I got the word blues, I can't be satisfied. Got the word blues, I can't be satisfied. I ain't happy no more when I wish I had died. Far to the neck, he crooned that too. The stars went out and so did the moon. The things I planned and went to bed. All the word blues echoed through his head. He's looking at the wrong poor man, then he's dead.
Hello, my name is Nathan Ross, and I will be reciting Freedom by Next News. Freedom will not come today, this year, or ever, through compromise and fear. I have as much right as the other fellow has to stand on my 2 feet and own the land. I tire so of hearing people say, let things take their course. Tomorrow is another day. I do not want my freedom when I am dead. I cannot live on tomorrow's bread. Freedom is a strong seed, planted in a great need. I live here too. I want my freedom just as you. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Taylor Williams.
A little higher.
Hello, my name is Taylor Williams, and today I'm going to be reciting the poem Phenomenal Woman by Maya Angelou. Pretty woman wonder where my secret lies, and that cute or built like a fashion model size. But when I start to tell them they think I'm telling lies, I say, is it the reach of my arm, the span of my hip, the curl of my lip, or the stride of my step? I'm a woman, phenomenal woman, that's me. I walked into a room just as cool as you please, until a man, fellows stand, all fell down to their knees. Then they swirl around me, and hide with honeybees. I say, is it the fire in my eyes, the flash in my teeth, the span of my waist, or the joy in my feet? I'm a woman, phenomenal woman, that's me.
Fathers, and I'll be reciting After Prayer by Ellie. We fought against their gods, invincible clear hate. We fought, granted, we flung the last big heroes that were shaft and lost. We knew the loss before they ever guessed, going to toss to them. Favorite were living, but how were we repressed? We lost yet as we pressed, our spearsmen on their vest. The moving waves as they fell in the rings of the white nation, radiant Aphrodite sky. We heard steps of passion, no worst hate. The neither cause of blessed, and the neither God of noble. Ever taught and scale, and something with would have thought. It had been God's will, that they and that we shall fall. We know those fields have led, and birds will led.
My name is Joshua Edwards, and I'm going to be reciting the poem A Pallet of Straw by Langston Hughes. They did not travel in an airplane. They did not travel by car. They did not travel on a streamlined train. They traveled on foot from afar. They traveled on foot from afar. They did not seek for a fine hotel. They did not seek for an inn. They did not seek for a bright motel. They saw a cattle bin. They saw a cattle bin.
Who are these three travelers on the road, and where were they going, and why? They were three wise men from the east that followed a star in the sky. A star in the sky. What did they find when they got to the barn? What did they find near the stall? What did they find on the pallet of straw? They found the Lord of all. They found the Lord of all. Thank you.
Shannon Wilson Desert here. I am trying to live, trying to keep alive. 2 dozen plants, 1 cat, 1 human. Grass pokes through the bed, but nothing in the bulb patches. All I remember of Garcia Marquez is the woman flying away. A porch day night, a motion printing light. A mosquito candlelight ozone. Produce every detail of the Pinterest land. Paint the accent doors ourselves, I remember too. The auntie and the baby, the last of the family line. My daughter carries my name and the genes of the stranger too. She grew inside my wife. Brush away the mulch, find the source, the root. Let the water drip and accumulate, but not a downpour, but a slow, soft drench. My daughter ripping up the yard, layer by layer, fistfuls of the earth and grass. Like a swordsman or a chef, we'll water again in an hour unless it rains another day. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Jackson Stenta, and I will be reciting Cage Bird by Maya Angelou. The free bird leaps on the back of the wind and floats downstream till the current ends, and dips his wings in the orange sun rays and dares to move the sky. But a bird that stalks down his narrow cage can seldom see through his bars of rage. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The cage bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still. His tune is heard on the distant hill, for the cage bird sings of freedom. The free bird thinks of another breeze of trade wind soft through sighing trees, and fat worms waiting on a dawn bright lawn. He names the sky his own. The cage bird stands on the grave of dreams. His shadow shouts a nightmarish scream. His wings are clipped and his feet are tied, so he opens his throat to sing. The cage bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still. His tune is heard on the distant hill, for the cage bird sings of freedom. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Dylan Hesketh, and I'm going to be reciting The Abandoned Farmhouse by Ted Kosher. He was a big man, says the size of his shoes on a pile of broken dishes by the house. A tall man, too, says the length of the bed in an upstairs room. And a good, God-fearing man, says the Bible with a broken back, underneath the window, dusty with sun. But not a man for farming, says the field still cluttered with boulders and the leaky barn. A woman lived with him, says the bedroom walls papered with lilacs and the kitchen shelves covered in oilcloth. And they had a child, says the sandbox made from an old tractor tire. Money was scarce, says the jars of plum preserves and the tomato cans still sealed in the cellar. And winters were cold, says the rags stuffed in the window frames. It was lonely here, says a long, narrow country road. Something went wrong, says the empty house. It's still sitting in a weed-choked yard. The stones in the field say he was not a man for farming. The food, still sealed in the cellar, say that she left in nervous haste. And as for the child, its toys were strewn all along the yard, like branches after a storm. A rubber cow, a rusty tractor with a broken plow, and a doll in overalls. Something went wrong, they say. Thank you.
Hi, I am Shannon Lawley, and I'm going to be reciting Dog in Bed by Joyce Sidney. Nose tucked under tail, you are a warm furred planet centered in my bed. I'll let it orbit, tangle limbed, in the slim space allotted to me. If I accidentally bump you from sleep, shift, roll, and drape your chin on my head. Oh, that languid movie star drape. I can never resist it. Digging my fingers into your fur, kneading. I wonder, how do you dream? What do you adore? Why should your black silk ears feel like happiness? This is how it is with love. Once invited, it steps in gently, circles twice, twice, takes up as much room as you will give him.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Ethan Izette. I will be reciting The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as if someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this, and nothing more. Distinctly I remember. It was in the bleak December, Andy's shepherd dying amber rotten scales were upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I sought to borrow from my books receipts of sorrow for the lost Lenore, the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels named Lenore, nameless here, forevermore. The silken satin certain rustling of each purple curtain filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before. Now, to still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. Some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door." This it is, and nothing more. Presently, my soldiers stronger, hesitating, then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly your forgiveness I implore. The fact is I was napping, and so gently you came tapping, and so faintly you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping at my chamber door that I scarcely sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door. Darkness there, and nothing more. Deep into the darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token. The only word there spoken was a whispered word of Lenore. This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word, Lenore. Merely this, and nothing more. Back into my chamber turning, all my soul within me burning. Soon again I heard a tapping somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "that is something at my window lattice. Let me see them what they're at us, and what this mystery explore. Let my heart be still, and let this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter with many a sort of flutter, and there stepped a stately raven from the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, but not a minute stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched upon the bustled palace, just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then the seven bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the graven stern the corner of the consonants award. Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou, I said, art shorn of craven, grim and ghastly, ancient raven, wandering in from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Much I marveled at this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy it bore. For we cannot both help agreeing that no living human being has ever yet been blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast perched upon the sculptured bust just above his chamber door, with such name as nevermore. But the raven sitting lonely on the placid bust spoke only that one word, as if it still in that one word he did outpour. Cut from some ungrateful master whom a merciful disaster followed, fast and followed faster, till one burden that he bore, till the dirges of his melancholy burden bore, of nevermore. But the raven still beguiling all my fancy into smiling. Straight I wheeled a cushion in front of burden busted door. Then upon the velvet sinking I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy. Thinking what this ominous bird of yore, this grim and ghastly game we got meant an ominous bird of yore, meant in croaking, nevermore. Startled. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the bird whose fiery eyes burned into my bosom's core. But with my head at ease reclining on this velvet lining, that the lamplight gloated o'er, on the velvet violet lining, with the lamplight gloating o'er. Then the bird said, nevermore. Startled at the stillness broken by reply so aptly spoken, farther than I uttered, not a feather than he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have left before. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Then methought the air grew denser, perfumed from some unseen censer. Swung by seraphim, whose football tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite and a pen from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff this kind of pen, forget thy memories of Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, bird or devil. Whether tempter sent or tempest tossed thee here ashore, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me truly I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, bird or devil, by the heaven that bends above us, by the God we both adore, tell me in the tell the soul with sorrow waiting, that in the distant Aden it will clasp the sainted maiden whom the angels name Lenore. Will it clasp a rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore? Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word or sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked, upstarting. Get thee back into the tempest and the nice Plutonian shore. We've no black bloom as a token, for the light thy soul hath spoken. Put thy bust above my chamber door. Take thy beat from out my heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And his eyes have all this, and the raven never flitting, still is sitting, on the pallid bust of palace, just above my chamber door. And his eyes have all the seeming of a demon that is dreaming. And the lamplight gloating o'er him throws his shadow on the floor. And my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Bodie Fenstermacher, and today I will be reciting There's a Gretchen in My Kitchen by Shel Silverstein. There's a scaber-backed Gretchen who lives in my kitchen and makes his home under the sink. And he lives upon gipes who crawl out of the pipes, and he takes them and posts them to drink. He is friends with the lover who dwells in my cupboard, and often at night after dark, they will sit on the stove and converse with the scrove and catch if she escaped for a while. Then they'll call to the blossoms who creep from the faucets that sit on the tea kettle broom. And the slithery scarbage crawl out of the garbage and jump in the soup for his throat. Then they may run a race to the silverware case with the grumpy who drinks all my beer, and dance with the muffin inside of my oven and whisper sweet sounds in her ear. For the Gretchen's in love with the muffin, poor boy, but she loves the backbiting Smee. Or is it the Jace? Well, in any case, I'm glad you could make it for tea.
And that concludes the Poetry Coffee House for 2021. Thank you for coming, and hope you have a great time.
At this time, we would like to ask the 6th grade class to come up, and parents, feel free to take pictures.
So, first and second row, come on. Back there, yes.